Apparently having problems shooting because of that sound. Somebody is constructing something and I'm just like
running through these checks like the ones on my shoes. So
hola mamis and papis, welcome to my channel. It's your girl Chisala. If you're new here, you might as well just subscribe. I mean, yeah. So about my eyeliner, I was trying something new and oh my goodness, it's a disaster. Let's just stick to what we know, okay? If you're not new, you came back and that means a lot to me. So today's True Crime Tuesday. If you don't know what Tuesday is, it's after Monday. So what happens here on my little channel is we have True Crime Tuesday where we talk about true crimes that happened in the past. Oh, recently. So today we're talking about the hillside. I swear this person is timing me. Like when I start talking, they start whatever they're doing. So today we're talking about the hillside stranglers. Cousins Kenneth Baichi, I can't pronounce it, and Angelo Buono. So Kenneth Baichi was born on the 22nd of May 1951 from a prostitute who was an alcoholic. So 2 weeks after his birth, she gave him up for adoption. So Kenneth was then adopted by Nicholas Baichi and his wife Frances Baichi, who was Angelo Buono's aunt, and that's how they became cousins. So they're adopted cousins, you get it? So this Kenneth Baichi guy was described as a problem child from an early age because his mother described him as a compulsive liar from the time he could talk. What a description. In addition of being a problem child, he was diagnosed with malpetite seizures in which his eyes would like roll back in his head and he would like have this like trance like daydream things. And he was also diagnosed with like involuntary urination, which was very humiliating. Unfortunately, at very early ages in his life, he had like behavioral problems whereby he would like have fits of anger against his mom for some reason, and also teachers at school. He didn't really get along with them. But then at the age of 11, they thinking his IQ was like 116, which is above average. So they were really wondering why he was like performing poorly at school, like below average. So his mom described him as lazy. And then when he grew up, he got a few jobs, but he used to steal. Like once he worked at a jewelry store and he would steal the jewelry and give it to prostitutes or his girlfriend so he can earn their loyalty. Because he stole so much, you know, he was constantly on the move because he couldn't stay at one place because they would know like, oh, you're a thief. So this is why this guy moved all the way to California. So this guy, Kenneth, when he moved to California, that's when he started spending more time with his cousin, Angelo, I call him Angelo anyway, whatever. Angelo Buono. And so the dynamic duo was formed. So Kenneth was really impressed by Angelo's dressing and his fancy clothes and jewelry and his ability to get any woman and put her in her place, whatever that means. Then later in 1977, they became pimps, obviously, and then that later turned them into hillside stranglers, and we're going to learn how and why. So now the story of Angelo Buono, brief history by the way. And I keep calling this guy Angela. They should have just called him that, really. It's Angelo Buono. So Angelo Buono was born in October 5th. Wait. You can be born in October 5th. He was born on October 5th in 1934. So Angelo Buono was born in Rochester, New York from first-generation Italian immigrants from San Paolo. So this guy already was troublesome. Even before the murders, he had already charges on auto theft, assault, failure to pay child support, and rape. So the hillside stranglers, they coined this name because many of the victims were found in the hills surrounding Los Angeles. So at first, initially, the police believed that it was the hillside strangler. But then, with further investigation, they were like, no. There has to be 2 people working on this thing. So they found out that it was 2 people. The bodies of the victims are known to be 10, and at first they started with killing like sex workers, like 3 of them, and that didn't really catch media attention because I do not know why. When a sex worker dies, like they don't really like fuss much. They're just like, okay, because why? I mean, they're human, right? Then it caught media attention when like other girls from like middle-class neighborhoods were being abducted, raped, tortured, and murdered. That's when it caught media attention. They were like, okay, now we need to get serious about this. So their first murder, according to my research, was Yolanda Washington, who was murdered because she was delivering a trick list. A trick list was this list that had like men who frequently visited these prostitutes. So yeah, Deborah Noble, her friend, gave Yolanda like, oh, take this from me, and she's like, okay, great, I will. So she took it. But then the men, Angelo and Kenneth, discovered that the trick list was a lie, and it was not going to get them any clients for their prostitutes. So they decided they couldn't find Deborah Noble, like the woman who was also a prostitute who had given them a trick list that was fake. So they decided to take their rage out on Yolanda. That was in late October 1977. So the body of Yolanda Washington was found on Ventura Freeway, and the detectives that were caught on scene believed that it was dumped there because it didn't make sense. It was too clean, you know, like obviously if like a death happened or a murder happened, like there's obviously some signs of like struggling and whatnot, but then nothing. So but they did find faint marks of like ropes had been tied on her wrists, her neck, and her ankles. So they believed initially that the cause of death was strangulation. So these men were terrible people. I mean, right after killing Yolanda Washington, they went on to kill Judy Miller on the 1st of November 1977, and then 5 days later they killed somebody else. What is wrong with you people? So the 5 days later, that was November 6th, they killed Lisa Casting. Her body was also found in the same conditions as the previous murders, like Yolanda, like Judy. Her body was found nude, obviously strangulations, signs of strangulations with a rope again. So Lisa Caston's murder was kind of like how Ted Bundy also did to Cara Darange. Like I always say Cara Darange, like Cara Darange, I'm sure. But anyway, so it was similar because they also claimed they were detectives and they had to take her in for questioning. And you know, when like people claim to be police and they come to you, they're like, we have to take you for questioning because you're scared. You're like, oh my goodness, what did I do? And you're curious and you know you didn't do anything, so you want to clear your name. So like guys, just make sure the badges, we should probably study how police badges look in high school, so like we can know like if somebody's lying to us, because I'll be like, give me your badge, let me see, because I don't believe you. Honestly, studying and looking at these murders, I really don't understand why these men committed these murders. Like there's no actual motive. Like it's like they just wanted to kill, which is like disgusting. And even if you have a motive, it's still disgusting. But like this, it's more like, why? What the hell's wrong with you? When like you don't even have a motive. Like they just killed, and they killed in such a short span. Like what the hell? So their murders were believed to run from October 1977 and February 1978. And I'm just like, 10 people in like those few months. That's like how many months? Like 3, 4? What the hell's wrong with you? So in January 1979, the police had made like investigations, like intensive investigations, and they were ready to charge these 2 people with murder. But then Kenneth Bainchi, I can't pronounce his name. He fled to Bellingham, Washington, where he murdered 2 women again, and he was apprehended and arrested by the Bellingham Police Department. So the Bellingham Police Department found out that he lured the women, him pretending that he wanted them to house sit his house. So then he lured them there and then killed, tortured, and raped them. So he was arrested, but then he pleaded for insanity. But then doctors did like insanity tests on him, like mental capacity tests on him, and they were like, nah, he's faking it. And then he finally pled guilty to the murders of the 2 women. But then he decided to snitch on his cousin, Angelo. He decided to snitch on him because they offered him like some leniency on his charges if he snatched. Is there a past tense for snitch? Snatch. So Buono was arrested eventually, okay? So at the conclusion of his trial in 1989, presiding judge M. Ronald George, who became later the Chief Justice of the California Supreme Court, so he said, and I quote, and I'm gonna read because like I want to get it right, you know what I mean? I would not have the slightest reluctance to impose the death penalty in this case were it within my power to do so. Ironically, although these 2 defendants utilized almost every form of legalized execution against their victims, their defendants have escaped any form of capital punishment. So Ronald George really wanted to give these guys the but then apparently they had done some legal things, you know, all this stuff we wouldn't understand. They escaped the death penalty and they were arrested and sentenced to life imprisonment, obviously. So currently, Kenneth Bainchi is serving a life sentence in the Washington State Penitentiary in Walla Walla. Who named it Walla Walla? Walla Walla. And then his cousin, Buono, died of a heart attack on the 21st of September 2002. So, yeah. Honestly, like, there's not much substance to this true crime story because I'm just like, how did these people why did they kill? Like, my main question is why. Like, Yolanda Washington, I don't get it still. Like, it does not give them a pass to kill somebody. Like, they had this motive of we were deceived. But the rest of the murders, like, was it just a high? Like, they just were just like, oh, we're gonna kill today. So I don't get it. I don't. So guys, honestly, this has just been like I'm just so confused as to why they killed. Like, even before I was reading, I was like, so why did you guys kill this? What the hell is wrong with you? Anyway, so there's a couple like of movies out there that have been made about the hillside stranglers. You can check those out, but I'm just like, their case is not interesting. It's like you're just a bad person. You didn't have any mental disabilities. Like, most of these murderers don't have any mental disabilities. Like, I'm not saying mental people should kill, but like, they don't think straight. So you'd be like, oh my god, that's why you did it. But then for these people, they're like normal, so you're just like, why did you do it? So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you subscribed and you like, and thank you so much for everyone that has subscribed so far. I think we are 3,000 plus now, so it's great. We're growing, you know, amazing. And I didn't have as much energy today because it's Sunday and I don't know, it's cold outside, so I'm just like please take care of yourselves. Do not trust anybody with a fake badge, please. I mean, you can tell, but like, you can just ask them if you can like examine the badge first, but still, just don't trust strangers. I'll see you guys. Bye, peace, I love you.